Welcome to TRADEREP. This is Short Hammer. It is the 12th of July, 2019, and we are looking at Amazon. So it does say that history will repeat itself, but I won't say that history repeats itself, but it at least rhymes sometimes. So if you're looking at Amazon, before Amazon went to all-time highs, we saw this push up into the 1845 area, pull back, a push up again, above the 1845 area to the 1858s, a pullback, a push up into the 1868 by 1875 area, a pullback down to the 1747 area, then a bounce from there back into the through the 1868s. We based here at the 1845 to springboard up into the 1923 area, pulled back, held the 1875, pierced down to the 1858, regained, held, pushed up into the 1914s by 1923s, springboarded through the 1936s and gapped. Pull back, gapped, just parabolic right up into the all-time highs. Then we had a strong pullback to 1936 where we based a little bit. Pull back into the 1914-23 area, pushed back up again into the 2000s, pulled back, bounced off the 1889s, back up, down 1868s, 1875s, strong move in 4 days, back up into the 2033 area. Then we sold off through the 1936, tried to back test that. Down 1868, 1875 area, tried to get back above that, couldn't. Down 1762, pull back, test the 1845, down into the 1680s, back up 1762, 1794, try to regain 1800s, couldn't. Down. Now when you look at these patterns, you wonder where these supply demand zones come from. You can see it from these patterns, how these tickers move. So here we are again, history repeating itself. We're pushing up off of the 1762s, like we looked at earlier, up into the 1845s, 1818s push us up, base 1845, parabolic push, up into the 1914s by 1923s, 1936 pierce here on the 26th of April. Couldn't really hold that. Pulled back. Held just above the 1875. 1889 still valid here. Back up into the 1959 by 1964. Back down below this 1936 area. Back test. Down. 1823. 1818 held. Back up. Resistance 1914, 1923. That's where the supply demand zone is. This downtrend comes into effect, and down we go. 1675 channel going back to 2018, probably even earlier. This is a much older channel. I think it's like 2017 or 16. Bounced here, higher low. Higher low, higher high. And look at this drive. Back up, broke the downtrend, gap through this. Up, back test 1845, like we saw here, and we saw earlier in the chart. Springboard up, 1875, up. 1936, this is FOMC. Pulled back here. Parabolic squeeze up. Back to 1936. Didn't quite get through. Ride it. Down to 1923. Up. 1936. Springboard. Push. Right up into 1988. Gap. 2000s. Next day, another push up. 2033. Pull back. Hold 1997. So, I know that was long, but that's the pattern that we've seen on Amazon. Now, what are we going to watch for tomorrow on Amazon? So Amazon has been holding this uptrend, and we are above this line right here, which is the yearly pivot at 1978. This here is the quarterly pivot. So, and it bounced on the monthly pivot, double bottom here at 1995. So the level I'll be watching, depending where we open tomorrow, watch 1995, watch this 1981 area, and this 1988 by 1997. That's one of our supply demand zones. If we pull back, we want to watch this trend line here to hold. If we pull back today, let's see, we have support at 1995. We have support at 1981, 1988 also, 1981. Then support down here at 1964. I'm not expecting this. Then all the way down into this trend line, we have support. I'm not expecting us to drop like that. I mean, we pulled back yesterday based on the drop on the bond side. I believe it was kind of a surprise. So I don't see us. Well, that's one of the reasons we pulled back. I don't see us going all the way back down here. So we can watch and see if buyers step in here, which looks like they have. And if we get a push up into this 2015 quarterly pivot area, and see what we do at that point. If we go above and then we push back up into the upper levels here. But that's what I'm watching for tomorrow, these levels on Amazon as far as the higher time frame. Now if I bring over this is our 5-minute chart here, and we see that Amazon pushed up into the 2033 area, push, but on the 5-minute, it could not close above that. We pull back down, kind of riding this pivot a little bit, pushed back up, couldn't quite get above the 2033 area, down. So we're kind of going sideways here. And then we just curved. And so the buyers, the demand just went away. Supply overwhelmed demand, and down we went. Hit the main intraday pivot, pull back up, quarterly, down back below the main intraday pivot, pull back to it, and then just sort of capitulated here to the downside and bounced on the monthly pivot inside the top of our supply demand zone. So we'll see tomorrow. The main intraday pivot is 2010, and the quarterly is right here at 2014. So tomorrow I'll be watching these levels to see, are we gonna hold this 1995, and if so, can that get us through this 2010? This is a nice range for a Friday on Amazon. So let's watch and see if this back tested area of 2012 holds up, because we see that when we went below this, we back tested down, couldn't get through, capitulation. So you have some levels here, 2010. So basically the main intraday pivot is going to be a level to watch, this weekly pivot. Yesterday's main intraday pivot at 2012, 57 is an area to watch. Then the quarterly. So this will be something to watch tomorrow on Amazon. We'll see how we move and what the catalysts are. But keep in mind, we still have Prime Day coming up next week. And then earnings, I believe, is the week after that. So Amazon may pull back, but we still have a lot of upwards catalysts in Amazon. And I'm not sure, I have to see when the next FOMC is, as far as when the minutes will be released, to see if we'll get that before earnings for Amazon. But just keep in mind that the interest rate cut catalyst is still out there, but the Fed has entered a blackout period where you are not going to hear anything else from them. This week was the last week that they could speak before we received the July minutes. So we won't be hearing anything else from them after this week until we get an interest rate cut or maintain decision. So keep an eye on news that may come out of the White House and articles that may be written where people are just going to be having opinion pieces. And also keep an eye on oil, bonds, and trade is also all bundled in there. All those things may start to move front and center, along with the beginning of earnings. Earnings season is right around the corner. So we have a few catalysts that are going to be coming in place while we wait for the interest rate cut decision.